applications. Enrollment is limited to only 25 students. Apply now at tcatharriman.edu or call TCAT Harriman at 865-882-6703. That's 865-882-6703.
You can't plan for medical emergencies, but you can plan on Roan Medical Center being close to home or the field when an emergency happens. Our team of dedicated experts
to welcome you to tonight's free medical clinic Friday night scoreboard show. Mr. Queener will not be with us tonight. Thoughts and prayers with him as he recovers to get better. He'll be back with me hopefully next Friday night. Big night in high school football. Round one of the playoffs. A lot still riding. Just heard behind me that Science Hill goes up on Science Hill goes up on Farragut 56-49 late in the fourth quarter. Second overtime. Second overtime. Farragut just scores to make it 56-55. Chase, you can come on in. He comes in with a Route 44 and a Diet Coke. He's ready for a night in the war room here in round one of the playoffs. So, that game, do we have an Oak Ridge final? 24-17, McMinn County. Go through a couple things here. Okay, Cloudland tonight beats Greenback. Oakdale gets their first playoff win in school history.
Probably ever, yeah.
In school history.
Big.
Yes. Midway beats Unaka, and Cofield beats North Green. So starting off 1A football, Cloudland obviously favored tonight. Oakdale really thought they would win the football game, but now Oakdale goes to Cloudland. How far of a drive is that? Is that a 3-hour drive?
It's got to be. I mean, at least.
At least a 3-hour drive. Midway will go to Cofield.
That's going to be a tough game for the Greenways. Cofield is in the second round of the playoffs at Cofield. You're talking about what small town football is all about right there. That place will be packed.
Absolutely. And it will be awesome.
Yes.
And it will be an awesome atmosphere. Farragut wins in double overtime. Goes for 2 and gets it. So there you go. Farragut goes to side. And at one time they were down 21-0.
Wow.
So tough loss there for Science Hill, but man, how good that has to feel for Coach Eddie Courtney coming home with a win. And that gets them.
Oh, we are war room today.
Yes, that gets them a win, and that they will go play Bradley Central, which a team they should have beat a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that's a big
a winnable game.
Winnable game there. But Oak Ridge, just to think last year they play in the state championship game to this year 3-7, losing the first round for a season ending 3-8.
And when's the last time Oak Ridge just went 3-8?
They've never lost 7 games in the school history.
They graduate. Now you may be more familiar with Oak Ridge with I. Did they graduate that many people, or has there been are people not meshing? Are players not jiving?
I don't know. It's been one of those things as we followed all year. We expect them to get better. And I made a comment early on, if they don't get better, then there's some kind of chemistry issue. They did graduate the quarterback, I know for sure, and some other players, but they also had 3 or 4 kids transfer in from West.
They should have been able to fill some of those
you would have
voids,
thought.
you would think.
And then you got a running back that's got some offers. But something was going on this year. Mid-season change in the offense coordinator.
That should be a sign right there. Something's not.
So that was going on. So a lot going on.
A lot.
A lot going on. But a lot of big stories. Carnes, first ever playoff win in school history, 27-25. Oakdale, big win. And we're going to go to JR right now. JR, this is Jonathan Cox.
Awards away, and let's give our CPA award away tonight. It goes to
congratulations.
Productive Athlete, sponsored by Parson.
Coach.
Yes.
Congratulations on picking up the first playoff win in school history. Let you talk a little bit about your kids and the experience and the excitement right now in Oakdale.
Oh yeah, I mean the kids they're through the roof, man. They're excited. They're proud of their accomplishment. Really excited about the opportunities, moving forward. And so many guys made plays tonight for us. Hunter Boyer on the defensive side. I thought Timmy Holder had a really good game in the backfield, and at linebacker, Lloyd Vera made several big plays for us. Our offense, once we got kind of settled down, our offensive line really played well. So many guys just stepped up, and it's the same cast of characters for us. I mean, it's Joseph Summers. He doesn't come up in a lot of stat lines, but, man, he really does so much for us on the defensive side of the ball. Same thing with Austin Swafford. There's just so many guys that we can look to and be like, man, he's really important to us. That guy's really, really important to us. And, it's not just one person. It's a whole cast of folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you have a success you've had this year, it's not just 1 or 2 people. And I know you got to be proud of those kids. Now, take us through this a little bit. And correct, I've heard some different things. How many games has Oakdale played in the postseason leading up to tonight?
Before tonight, we had made the playoffs 5 times. Tonight was the 6th time. 93, 96, and then we made it in 2014, 15, and 16. And 15 and 16 were home playoff games.
Okay. All right, awesome. I know there was some different stuff floating around, and Jesse Smith, he sort of put some stuff out there the other day, and then obviously the article that came out about, you or Jellicoe one was going to get your first playoff win.
Right.
And congratulations on picking up that first victory. Now, talk a little bit about next week. You'll be heading up to Cloudland. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, it's a long trip, but it doesn't matter if we had to play on Mars, man. We're playing in the second week of November. It's big for our school, big for our community. We'll get together as coaches here over the weekend and refine our game plan about what we want to do and put some things together, and then start working on the game plan with the kids on Monday, and go into normal practice. Just because it's playoffs, we're not going to change how we do practice and stuff. We'll still get in there and do what we do, and go from there, brother, and just work on things and refine the game plan. Come Friday, we'll load up on the bus and get up the Roan Mountain, see if we can do anything with the Highlanders.
Well, I'd say I got to witness Oakdale playing the state basketball tournament when I was coaching at Fulton several years ago, and I can tell you there will be a lot of red in Cloudland.
Well, we hope so. We hope they make the trip. There was a lot of red in the stands tonight, man. Our crowd was really good. And the kids feed off of that. When you look up in the crowd and you see all your classmates and your mom, your dad, and your grandparents and friends and family, and it's special, and this is a special community. I've said that numerous times, that if you're not from here, you don't know, but man, if you are from here, if you live here, man, you really know what family and community is all about.
Yeah, and it's cool to follow at BBB TV 12 and 5 Star. It's awesome to follow the 1A and the 2A football as it develops, and the hometown atmospheres and everything that's going on there. And like you said, you've got to sort of be there, live it, to enjoy it and appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with us, we're pre-K through 12, and, my work day here at the school, I'm dealing with kids from 4-year-old to 18-year-old, so it's, it's pretty neat coming off the field tonight, and I've got a couple of, first and second graders that's coming up and giving me high fives and be like, hey, did those good luck pictures that we draw for you today, did those help you? And, that's something, you don't have that everywhere, and it's a special place, man. And this community, I've lived here, I guess, 17, 18 years now, and it ingrains into your body, man. And it's not another place in the world I'd rather be.
Hey, JR, Chase, Clem, I just want to know if the town is safe tonight, or are we burning cars and mattresses? I mean, I know the Oakdale fan base is fired up. We need to get a location out on Mel Steinmetz and some of the other Oakdale Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you what, if somebody was burning a mattress, I'm standing outside the locker room. I probably would go stand by it right now. It's a little
freezing.
Cold, but I don't think we had any mattresses or no dumpster fires or anything like that tonight. So, from that standpoint, I believe we're all okay. I didn't see Mel, but I'm sure he was in appearance somewhere, probably still in a pair of shorts out here in 30-degree weather, chanting Oakdale Eagles.
You would have heard him before you saw him, I know that much.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, Coach, we'll let you get back inside. We're proud of you, and I know the community's behind you, and I hope that Sea of Red makes it to Cloudland.
All right, man, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for all you do.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Coach.
All right, good night.
Coach, you're on the air here on our free medical clinic Friday night scoreboard show. Congratulations on a first-round win.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Coach, talk a little about tonight about some players and how they played and how your team responded going into the postseason. Did you open up a little nervous, or did you start fast? And talk a little about your team.
We felt really good going into it. We came out, started the game really well, jumped up 20-0 early. And, we let up a little bit and then picked it back up there late in the first half. Ended up getting it out 50-0 at the half. And, second half was able to get a bunch of young kids in, get them a ton of playing time. And it was really good, really, really happy with the performance, other than a couple series where we just went a little flat for a little bit.
Absolutely. Now, it's in the football playoffs, you get a wide range of games. I was watching a 1-4 seed tonight between Seymour and Anderson County, go down to the wire, and then you got a score like yours. How do you maintain, that focus and being able to play the 4 quarters as you play a game tonight and then transition next week into Midway and then possibly to that winner of Cloudland Oakdale? How do you kind of handle that?
Well, it's just one of those things the kids know. It's win or go home. You got to be playing your best every Friday, and you got to be focused, because if you're not, you can slip up and end up in a 4-quarter dogfight with a team you shouldn't be in one against. And it could end up, if you don't bring that intensity and that focus, you'll be sitting at the house watching. And that's a good thing about our kids. They're competitive. They know that. They've been in this before, and they were ready to go. And it helps next week with Midway. That's a team we play every year in our region. Those kids know the kids at Midway. They know our kids, and it helps with that focus. I'm going to be honest. I was glad Midway won, because I know it's going to have our kids' attention. They're going to be a lot more focused, ready to go this week playing Midway than if we'd have been playing Unaked.
Absolutely, and it's a good thing you're not getting on a bus to go to Unaked or Cloudland or anywhere like that just yet. So,
I won't be honest with you, man. I'll be pulling hard for Oakdale next week, just so we don't have to take that trip up to Cloudland, ride a bus for 3 hours. But that's a good thing. It's good to see Coach Boyle get that first playoff win up there tonight.
Hey, Coach, you're fairly new in your head coaching career. how's your staff been able to kind of help you adjust to some of the head coaching duties, going up against a lot more veteran coaches, like one next week against Ron Treadway? How have they been able to help support you and make you a better coach for your players?
Well, both Coach Jason Wilson and Coach Matt Jones, my offensive coordinator and defense coordinator, they have been head coaches before, so that's helped a ton because they've been around it, they know. And then Coach Wilson and Coach Bell, they've been down at Coalfield forever, and I've played there and I coached there for a year, so I got to see it. But they've been around and they know how things run and they know the way things are supposed to be. And it helps me a ton knowing, hey, you know, if I got a question or if I need to know something, I can ask these guys, and they've had the experience with it, and, you know, they're going to be able to help me out with it. And I'm able to trust them a ton, and that makes my job easy, having that trust with them, being able to trust them.
That's exactly right. Hey, we were talking earlier before you came on, the atmosphere probably tonight and even more so next Friday night in a small town with a school from basically right next door coming into the second round of the playoffs. It's going to be electric. Is there anything you'd like to say to the Coalfield faithful and just encourage them to pack that place out?
I've been saying it on the radio every time I get on it. I need that place to be rocking. It was flat again tonight. And I understand, you know, it was one of those games we came out and put it away early. It was a cold night. Next week, Midway's going to bring a crowd. That's something we know that's going to happen. They're going to bring a crowd. They're going to be expected. You know, it was a 7-point game last time we played them. They're going to bring a crowd. Their side will be rocking. I need the Coalfield people to show up, be loud. And before kickoff, it needs to be loud. When we're out there in warm-ups, I want people there yelling, ringing cowbells, shaking milk jugs with rocks. I want it to be a loud atmosphere and, you know, have that playoff atmosphere to it and that rowdiness.
Absolutely. Like you said, winter go home and Coalfield faithful show up and bring some noise and bring some energy.
Yeah, our kids feed off that stuff, so it'd be nice if they do.
All right, Coach, congratulations, and hopefully we're talking to you next Friday night.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You know, and that's the thing, I think, that for so long that you sort of hang your hat on. And last year versus this year, it should be back.
Yes.
You know, the atmosphere, and it just wasn't the same. Limited crowd, supposed to be limited crowd.
Yeah, allegedly.
I had an official call me last year and said, they're not counting attendance at Oneida. That wasn't a third capacity. That was at 120%. So,
and you would think people would be eager to get back out and support those kids that are playing after a year of not being able to not really able to do that and enjoy it.
absolutely. And Coalfield's got a great opportunity in front of them if you look at it. Not discounting any other team in their region or in their quadrant, but I mean, if you look at the big picture of the Midway game and then the possible Oakdale Cloudland game, you know, to get to the semifinals, you know, down there you're looking at probably South Pitt, Clay County, Gordonsville, one of those. So the road to the semifinals, I think favors
It's obtainable.
Coalfield, but then that semifinal game, you're probably going to have some stuff go your way.
You'll have to bring your lunch with you.
And you're going to have to be ready to go.
Roy D. Mercer style.
Yeah, you're going to have to be ready to go. So, but talk a little bit about Rockwood.
Rockwood, again, they were in a situation kind of like Oakdale was, kind of like Coalfield was tonight. The game was never really in question. They jump out quick. They put it away 40-6 at the end. Couldn't quite get the running clock. Had some injuries, so that made people staying out in the cold just a little bit longer. But they were able to put it away. Never really in question. Coach Webb always does a good job of having those kids ready and getting the most out of kids. This is something he does a fine job at.
Yeah, we'll go right back to that. Okay.
Coach Treadway, you're on the air here on the BBB Channel 12 free medical clinic Friday night scoreboard. Congratulations tonight on a postseason victory.
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
Hey, Coach Treadway, Chase Clem, one of your former players, this diet soda is for you right here. You hear that? That's for you. Big win tonight. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We're really excited to get a victory in the playoffs.
Talk a little bit about the victory, and obviously you go on the road tonight to Unaka to win that football game. Talk a little bit about that and brag on your kids for a minute.
Well, what I'm so proud of with the kids is that they were so resilient. You know, we had a couple more injuries in the game, one of them in the first half, and you know, we don't have very many bodies, and so every injury's big, and we were already down two players, two starters before the game with injuries, and so you know, the resiliency that they showed when we just was having so much trouble offensively, and we were down 2 scores going into the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden we just decided we were going to ground and pound it, and we scored 4 times in 9 minutes, and the kids just did an incredibly good job of really just staying resilient. That's the most important thing that I pulled out of tonight's game, is that they never quit.
Coach, what changed down 14 in the fourth quarter, you said, and you come back and bang, bang, bang? Was it one of those old school plays where you just kept running it because they couldn't stop it?
Yeah, it really was. We went into kind of a single wing look, which is, you know, so far from what we do offensively that, you know, it may have just been something they just really weren't prepared for. And so I think our quarterback had 106 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, because we just kind of went wildcat with it out of that double wing package and just were snapping it and running right and left.
Well, that's good. You know, and you got to have a little bit of toughness this time of year. You can't give up. You got to be able to fight through adversity, and I'm sure that speaks volumes of your team and your coaching staff and yourself. So next week, the trip to Coalfield, I'm sure your kids, you don't have to do much to get them excited about that.
No, obviously, you know, we see Coalfield every year, and we know what kind of great program that is, and they just do such an excellent job. You know, it's almost like just a well-oiled machine up there. It just gets the same thing over and over, no matter what players are on the field. And so, you know, it's going to be a tall task without a doubt, you know. But tonight we're going to enjoy this win, you know, and enjoy being one of the final 16 teams left in the state. It's been a long time since Midway's won a first-round playoff game. And so we're going to enjoy it. And then Sunday afternoon, the coaches now get together, and we'll start trying to get ready for Coalfield. And hopefully we'll get a lot of our players back from these injuries and be at full strength maybe. And regardless, you know, we're going to come up there and we're going to play as hard as we can play.
Coach, I want to ask you a question. I've been noticing this. You know, I do a little with 5-star preps and I'm different games. How many players do you all have right now active on the roster?
We have 24 active players on the roster. We had 3 that were inactive tonight, and then we had 2 more that went down with injuries. So we were kind of rolling into the third and fourth quarter there with 19 kids. 6 of those freshmen that don't really get on the field very often, but had 2 tonight. So again, I mean, you know, it is what it is in single A football. Unaka was kind of in the same situation. You know, they don't have a lot of bodies. And, you know, you just got to throw the next man out there and say, look, it's your turn. You know, we got to make it happen.
You know, and the reason I ask you that, I watched a game tonight in 4A football with 35 and 41.
Really?
The one thing that I've noticed all year is just the lack of number of kids.
Well, you know, Coach Webb and Coach Pankey and I talked about that at the beginning of the season. Both their numbers were a little lower than what they normally have, and my numbers dipped from last year. We had 32 last year, and we started the season with 25. And, you know, it's just, I don't know if it's just something that kids just don't enjoy putting in the work that it takes to be on a football field, because it's a lot of work, a lot of long hours, a lot of physical exertion and weightlifting and all the things that go into it, and it's a long season. But I think it's just something that's kind of sweeping through all of, you know, high school football, which is, you know, the numbers are just low. It's just hard to get kids out there. And they have other things that they can do now with the growth of soccer and lacrosse and things like that.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to see some of these numbers. And like you said, and I heard today, a Knox County middle school will not have girls basketball due to not having enough players.
Well, that's just crazy to think about.
And that's hard to, you know, it's hard to put all that together. But that's why I ask you the question, because I know, you know, in the situation you're in with 1A football, versus 4A football. I mean, you think 4A would have at least 50, 60 kids. But rosters seem to be low. And a coach told me one time this year when I asked him that, well, I might have 40 on there, but I got about 13 players.
Well, and we kind of get into the same situation. We've got 24 on the roster, but we've got about 11 that go both ways all the time.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey, listen, it's been great talking to you. I'm going to get these kids over and get them something to eat and get on the bus.
All right,
and
Coach.
try to head our way back south of the river to enjoying this win.
Hey,
Thank you.
No place
Safe
I'd
travels.
rather be, Coach, south of the river.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
So, that's a great feeling coming home. Tell you what, why don't we take a quick commercial break? We've been going for a minute. We'll come back and we'll start talking some 2 and 3A and 4A football. See if we can get Coach Pankey on the line to talk about their win. You're talking about a trip. They're getting ready to go to Giles County. I was in Giles County in 2012, and it's a long drive. It's a long drive, and the atmosphere is second to none. So we'll take a quick commercial break here. We'll get back to the lines that are ringing and opening up, and we'll talk 2A, 3A, and 4A football.
We'll do it.
We'll be right back.
This holiday season, give the gift of health to all kinds of families in your community. Many of our neighbors can't afford medical care. In fact, over 14,000 of those living in Anderson, Roane, and Morgan County live in fear of becoming sick or injured because they don't have health insurance and can't afford to go to the doctor. But you can change that. On Tuesday, November the 30th, the Tuesday after Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday, give at fmcor.org to help provide unmet medical care needs in your community. Together, we hope to raise $10,000 in 24 hours. November the 30th, Give Tuesday, a day to remember those in need during the holidays. Give at fmcor.org.
American Outdoor Equipment has a great new location in Rockwood. They are a Branson tractor dealer with various sizes to choose from. Branson's greatest asset is their strength, quality, and features. But American Outdoor Equipment also has Bobcat mowers. You can expect the best when it comes to performance, durability, and comfort with a Bobcat mower. Or how about a Dixie chopper mower? They're the world's fastest lawn mowers. They have a large service and parts department. They are family owned and operated, plus they offer in-house financing. That's American Outdoor Equipment in Rockwood.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 110,000 participants here in Tennessee who take part in high school sports.
I am a Simplicity dealer. This business is my life, my career. If you need a new mower, I'll help you choose the model that will make your property look its very best, and even let you take a test drive. When it does need service, you can rely on my factory service training and genuine parts. Because I don't just sell products, I build relationships. I am a Simplicity dealer.
S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Your grandmother's fine china, those trendy sneakers, your collection of hand-carved duck decoys. Auto Owners protects your home. Because, well, somebody should. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Oh, now you do your job.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Welcome back to the free medical clinic Friday night scoreboard. They have over 14,000 people in Anderson, Morgan, and Roane County in the area. Go see those people. They can take care of your medical needs. We'll go back to the lines right here.
Coach Pankey, congratulations on a big first-round win tonight.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Talk a little bit about your team and who played well for you tonight, and talk a little bit about what it's like to start that postseason off.
Well, I'll start with the postseason. It feels good. You know, we had a home playoff game since 2000, and then we hadn't had a home playoff game win since 1999. So,
wow, long time coming, Coach.
It was, man. Just for these kids to accomplish that, and it was great for them, man. They've had a good season, and you know, it's just good to get that first-round playoff victory, especially when you get to play it at home. But, you know, hats off to Sequatchie County, man. They came in. We knew they were a physical football team. It's going to be a tough game. But Carson Donaldson, you know, he had over 190 yards rush, 4 touchdowns for us. Just a great effort on his part. Offensive line played good. Had some big plays from the defense. You know, Kane Ladd had a big interception there, and right before halftime, and ran it, I guess, back down about 60 yards, and we scored like 2 plays later. So, we gave up some plays we shouldn't have. We got a little lackadaisical and missed some tackles. But now, fourth quarter, man, they stepped up and bowed their backs and just end up, you know, just getting it out there at the end and winning the game.
Coach, did you get a score from the Giles County Sweetwater game?
Well, the last time I heard it was 36-0.
Okay.
That was halftime. And that's where we'll travel to next week is Giles County, man. They've got a great football team. I think they're ranked number 2 in the state behind Alcoa. They're undefeated. We'll definitely have our hands full next week, man. But I'll tell you, it's barely alternative. I'll be getting on the bus going to play Giles County instead of getting in my truck going to watch somebody else play.
Absolutely.
I'll take it every time.
Absolutely. I was telling Chase earlier, I went to Giles County in either 2012 or 13 to watch Fulton play them in a semifinal game, and that is a long way, but this time of year you'll travel where you have to play football.
Well, I looked on the GPS. I think if you left right now, it's 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, but like I said, I'll take it.
Hey, Coach Pankey, last couple weeks were kind of a struggle for the Yellow Jackets. Did you get them some Handy Burger or Chuck's Deli? What did the light bulb go off? What kind of made things click tonight? It looks like y'all were firing at all cylinders tonight.
Well, the last 2 weeks we've had tough games, man. You know, Loudoun's got a really good football team, and you know, we had some self-inflicted mistakes in that game that we should have. You know, we had opportunities to win the game, we just didn't. Stone Memorial, man, they're a big physical 4A team. You know, those teams are always tough for us. I just told our kids, you know, all year long, when our back's against the wall, we had to make a play. We've been able to do it, and that's what I told them tonight. I said, at this point in time, it's win or go home. There is no next week. There is no 2 weeks from now. There are no do-overs. You either win or you hang your shoulder pads up, and you know, I don't think we're ready to hang our shoulder pads up yet. So, you know, they went out and, like I said, man, fourth quarter played really, really good football. Again, our offensive line and Carson Donaldson, man, just all year long he's been the workhorse. You know, he's one of the best players around here, bar none. And you know, 190 yards rushing, man, 4 touchdowns. That's he earned his money tonight.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, congratulations. We wanted to get you on the air here. Hopefully we hear from you coming back on the bus next week with a big win coming home from Giles County.
Well, I hope you're right, buddy. I hope you're right, man. I appreciate you guys giving me a call.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you, Coach. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, and go Jackets.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Marcellus.
What's up?
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Good. Hey, talk to us a little bit about the win tonight. And I'll let everybody know we got Marcellus Jackson on the phone from Fulton High School. He rushed for 200 yards tonight, 3 touchdowns, 65 yards passing. The last 3 weeks, Marcellus, I think you've went for about 750 yards playing quarterback. Talk a little bit about that change from going from wide receiver to quarterback.
Pretty solid.
Honestly, it's not really a change. It's still the game of football. I just like to feel like everything's dependent on me. Like, my attitude, like, everything is dependent on me. So if one I go left, the team goes left.
Absolutely. Now, big win tonight against Volunteer. Next week, looks like you'll go to Greenville. Talk about your offense and defensive line. Those guys don't get a lot of credit, but I've got to watch them a lot this past year. Talk a little bit about your offense and defensive line.
I say our offense and defensive line is our team, honestly. Like, nothing we'll be able to get done if we didn't have the strong Seth Keenan and Cameron and Bill. If we didn't have them all doing the work, like, it wouldn't be as easy as it looks out there for me. Like, I wouldn't be rushing for as many yards as I am because I wouldn't have nobody making them blocks. But our line coming out defensively and offensively playing both sides, like, you can't ask for nothing better.
Absolutely. They're good. They play hard. And your effort is unbelievable. So we appreciate you calling the call-in show tonight and talking about your teammates, and good luck this week, and go get you a win at Greenville.
Got you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, buddy. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, who does Anderson County play next week?
Anderson County will have Elizabethton at home.
Okay. All right. Thank you, there.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And we'll move into that. Go ahead.
What a guy. Just holding on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, here's what I'll say. I looking over the brackets and was doing some research. We talked on the way in here. Rockwood, if they can get everybody back together in that 2A, get the quarterback back next week, win that football game against Hampton, South Green's going to be a tough task. They will go to South Green.
Yes.
But they need to get some consistency in their lineup.
Yes, Rockwood's a team that could get put out next week, or they could also mess around and make the semifinals and play Meigs County. So it's just kind of how things click at the same time. They've dealt with a lot of players being out, players being injured. They get some players back next week. Hopefully they get some healed up. One of their big contributors, Landon Watts, broke his ankle last week, so he's out for the year. He played quarterback, played a lot of defense for us. So just hoping that everything can start clicking right for Rockwood and they can make a run.
Well, there you go.
Coach, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, just up here, just thankful that we get to speak with Coach Webb, the Dean of Rome County Football. Big win tonight for the Tigers.
Well, it was. You know, any win this time of year is always big, that's for sure.
Coach, you're playing Hampton at home next Friday night. 2 home games in the playoffs for anybody. You'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, you know, it's been a long time since we've, you know, got to this point and been able to do this. And, you know, it's always great to, you know, be able to stay at home, especially this time of year, you know, especially with the travel, you know, that we have to do between these 2 different regions. You know, it's, a lot of that stuff up that way is a long trip, so it's good to stay at home.
Coach, your team throughout the season has been pretty resilient. You've had to plug and play a lot, especially later on in the year. Just talk about their willingness to be able to step up and do what you need them to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, this team, you know, has done a great job, you know, since early in the season. You know, they've came to work every day. They've been, you know, a pleasure to work with every day, you know, at practice. You know, a lot of times, you know, they can, you know, you got certain teams at times that, you know, it's a little hard to deal with, whatever, but this one's been a great, you know, it's been a pleasure. It really has to work with this bunch.
Hey, anytime the Braves can win the World Series and the Rockwood Tigers win a playoff game, that's a good week, isn't it?
Yeah, how about those Braves? I didn't get to see the parade. I wished I'd have seen it, but I didn't get to see it.
Well, Coach, I got a question for you. Looking at the bracket, if Oneida wins, does that mean you get to host if you win over Hampton? Does the higher seed get to host in that situation?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And then talk a little bit about, I mean, we try to keep up with everybody. It's very hard, but now have you played 3 or 4 different quarterbacks now throughout the year?
Well, you know, technically we played 5. You know.
Okay.
You know, we started 4.
My bad.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a revolving door in that position for whatever reason, and you know the kids have, you know, a lot of people say, you know, if you're playing 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. Well, I don't know what they were saying if you're playing 4. You know, I don't know. But these guys have done a really good job, man. They've, it's just like they're not missing a beat right here. You know, obviously it hurts us, in our passing game. You know, for certain situations, or whatever. But these guys have done a great job. You know, Landon Watts last week was having a great game, and until he got hurt, and any time I've called on them, these guys don't get reps in practice. We don't have time to, go out and spend a lot of time, repping these, second and third and fourth and fifth guys. We really don't. And, but they understand it. They know what we're doing, and they pick it right up. And, so, tonight, we were not going to throw the football. Were we capable of throwing the football? Yes. I mean, Jayden Hannibal can throw the football. And but we were going to keep it on the ground and, try to run the football like we're more capable of doing, that as well as I do. Y'all seen us play a lot over the years. So, but anyways, it's just tribute to these young men that's went out there and practiced hard every week and gotten better.
Hey, Coach, don't forget to give credit to the playoff pants. They're 1-0.
The playoff pants?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I put them on last week, so, I try to get geared up for the playoffs as well as everybody else does.
Hey, Coach, your coaching staff, one of the more seasoned staffs probably in our county and region, I'd say. A lot of them have been around for years, and there's a little bit of some changeover this year, but just having the same coaching staff year in, year out, the players are familiar with them. How big a help is that?
I tell you what, I've been very fortunate. I have said that for a lot of years, being able to have a great coaching staff. And, and guys that have, been here and done it for a long, long time. And, we lost a few guys this off season, that decided to do other things. And, just fortunate to have them as long as we did. We missed those guys. They were really good coaches and, didn't really know what we were going to do in the off season as far as being able to replace them and stuff like that. And, but it's worked. The guys that we brought in, Coach Collett and Coach Evans and Coach Davis and Coach Williams, they're just really good guys. They know the game of football, and they enjoy being around it. That's the main thing. And they've come out and they've done a really good job, and the kids have really bought into what they're teaching them. And that's, again, it's a tribute to the players and the assistant coaches that I have.
Well, that's awesome, Coach. Coach, we're proud of you, and as always, Rockwood's playing good football here in the playoffs and ready to rock and roll for a couple more weeks.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to. That's the thing. We just got to take it one game at a time, obviously, right now, and just gear up. And we know it's going to be a slugfest. I hope it's a slugfest next Friday night, at our place. I'd like to encourage, everybody come out. And, a lot of people's missing this. Our crowd's not been really good the last couple of weeks, but a lot of people's missing, good football right now out of Rockwood. So I'd really like to encourage everybody to come out and, be supportive of these guys and, know win, lose, or draw, they've had a heck of a season.
Absolutely, Coach. I hope they all show up, and hopefully Chase can be there leading the cheers.
I'm sure he will.
Me and Ed.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Coach Gillum, how you doing tonight?
All right, how are you, Mr. Cox?
A little better now?
Yeah, a little better. Maybe a few days before I calm down.
So take us through that. I was keeping up with it, obviously, and looked like it went 14 or 21-14 or something like that. Take us through that a little bit, and then brag on your kids for a minute.
All right, we'll get to that. But we went up early 7-0 and really had control of the game and going about like you'd expect. And I think a lot of us decided we wanted it to be a blowout and a walkthrough. And we decided to quit blocking and tackling, and it got pretty competitive after that. And Seymour got a little life in them, and they started playing. They had some kids make some plays, and they got up 14, and they got up 21-14. And all of a sudden, we just weren't tackling. And offensive line wasn't doing a very good job of staying on bodies, and their linebackers were coming free and slowing us down. We probably put the ball in the air a little too much and got ourselves off the field and gave them more opportunities than we should have. But nonetheless, they were outplaying us, and we were just extremely soft in the first half. And we had a little talk about that at halftime. And we came out second half and fixed that part of it. I don't know how many first downs they got second half, but it wasn't many. We tackled better, and offensive line was a little more physical, and we kept the ball in Gavin No's hands and Nick Moo's hands, and offensive line played the way they should have, and H-backs with Davis and Zach Shannon cleaning up some extra bodies in there, and I think we scored every possession. But all that falls on me. I didn't do a very good job of getting us ready to be physical and competitive, and we're fortunate to be moving on.
Coach, your mentality's not real soft, so I'm sure you weren't real happy.
I'm extremely not happy, and Chad was probably as bad shape as I am. But
doesn't seem happy.
It's my fault. The kids are kids, and I didn't do a good job making sure we're just tougher. And we got a lot of really good kids, a lot of good families, but we got to be tougher. It's a physical game. It's a fight, and if you ever go into any ball game and you're not ready to fight, you're in trouble. And, I got to do a better job making sure we're ready to fight.
It looked like Moog and No both scored some touchdowns late. Obviously, the line started blocking a little better. Now, last time when you played Elizabeth and up there, was that the first week that you had played without your quarterback?
It was, and actually we found out Wednesday that he wasn't going to be playing anymore. So we got one day of practice with another guy, and in that situation, we put Tate Russell in, and Tate's an older kid and an athletic kid, and he's played quarterback in the past, and we felt like his age and maturity and athleticism was probably our best chance in such a few days. But Tate's also starting corner and one of our better players on defense. So when we got through that week, we moved Cody back in there. Tate still took reps, but with the scaled-down version of the offense that we're running, it really what didn't justify taking one of our better defenders off the field. So Cody had been running the offense with the freshman and JV, so we felt like he could probably do just as good a job as what we were asking of Tate. So Cody's taken most of the starts since then, and he's done a pretty good job. It's not easy to come in as a freshman. We do have a fairly complex offense, and Cody does a good job, but his physical ability is all there. It's just getting him comfortable with being able to orchestrate all the different moving pieces. It is a lot of different reads, pre-snap, post-snap, even in the run game. So it isn't as simple as just hand off and that kind of thing. So he's getting better control of it every week, but it is a process.
So he is a freshman, is that correct?
It is, and he's a tough kid. He's a fighter, and he's got a good arm and all them type things. It's just I hate for him to have to jump in the middle of the season and try and pick up where we left off. It's not fair to him. We before we got hurt with Walker had been in there for a couple of years and had been running it for 3 years. So we were probably doing as much with the quarterback position mentally, pre-snap, post-snap, than we've ever done because of what Walker's strengths were. So for Cody to come in and try and pick up where we left off, it wasn't real fair to him. So it is scaled down, but we are still a lot of RPO-based and things like that.
Gotcha.
So it's not easy for anybody, but he's doing a good job, and he's a competitor. I mean, he's a fighter type kid. He'd be happy if we put him at outside linebacker and just let him hit people. But that's not what we need from him right now.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, next week you host Elizabeth at home, which has got to be a good thing. We'll be watching and supporting you, hopefully be there. So good luck. Appreciate you calling in. Our lines are lighting up, but we like talking to our coaches first. So we appreciate you calling, or us taking your phone call, and good luck to you and get you a round 2 win next week.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Thank you, buddy.
Bye.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, guys. It's Jesse Smithy. How are you?
I'm warmer than you are.
I am, I'm getting back to normal body temp slowly as my car heats up. It was a frosty night for sure.
Just rip you a couple heaters, Jesse. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't have any of those.
Hey, so where were you tonight?
We were at West High School, and not because we thought it was going to be a good game. I mean, West High School really stumped Central in Week 11 and came in against a Morristown West team that was 5-5. But more than anything, I wanted to see what this West team was about. And remember, they lost Shannon Blair, who's a Michigan State commitment. They lost their top linebacker, John Carlovato. They've lost a couple of running backs to either injury or disciplinary issues. And this team just keeps not only just meeting adversity, but just beating it down and beating down its opponents. And it just they did it again tonight. It's just defensively, offensively, they did whatever they wanted to tonight. And I think they make it to the state quarterfinals pretty easily, and possibly the state semifinals.
I agree with you. I was looking at the 5A earlier. I think there's no way around me right now seeing anything but a Powell West semifinal game.
Absolutely. I know Central is going to say, well, we're still a player in this, but I don't think you can take Central seriously right now because of what happened with West in Week 11. It's still fresh on my mind. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm having to put my projections out, I mean, West and Powell in the state semifinals is definitely the game to watch. But we'll see if Central could maybe do something different against West High School when they play in the quarterfinals, if both teams get there.
You know, I was looking over that bracket. Central will not play a team with a winning record until the quarterfinals of the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean that Daniel Boone team that I believe that they face in round 2 is good. I mean, even though their record's not showing it, I mean they beat a good Halls team tonight, and so it's definitely not a powerhouse or anything. Central should still be favored to win that game. It'll be highly disappointed if they lose, but Daniel Boone's still a 1 seed, and I was actually surprised that Region 1 got 2 wins tonight. I thought Sevier County would win easily tonight against David Crockett, and that didn't happen.
Well, and I did too. I didn't think they would go up there and lose, but I feel like it's just set up for that West Powell showdown.
Yeah, I mean,
were you a little surprised that
delivered a couple? You know, go ahead.
Were you surprised that Halls didn't win?
I was, yeah. I mean, I just looking at what Halls has done this year, a lot of close losses, and so their record really not indicative of their ability. And I thought that they would be able to go on the road and win that game tonight and pull off a quote-unquote upset because they're a 4 seed. So it's been a hard team to figure out this year at Halls at times. So it's kind of his own brand with what's happened in their season, losing 1-score games. But, yeah, it was a little bit caught off guard that they weren't able to rally and win that game.
Now talk about the other side of that. Does Ray County Carnes match up next week? Is that intriguing with a game that might last about an hour and a half with all the running?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of running the football in that game with Deshaun Bishop of Carnes, which, you know, runs with athleticism and power and a lot of showmanship. And then you have the basic kind of determined, disciplinary wing T offense of Ray County and head coach Mark Pemberton. So while both teams like to run, it's a clashing of styles in the way that they go about their run. And so you're right, Jonathan. It probably lasts about an hour and a half. Definitely taking the under if that under is at 2 hours for that game. Carnes, I know there's some things that they could clean up tonight, but tonight was all about them getting a playoff win for the first playoff game in 10 years. None of those players know what it was like to be in the postseason and to feel that pressure, and they felt it tonight. They were up 9 at halftime, and the next thing you know, they're down to Walker Valley, who had upset Powell in the first round last year. So I'm sure that they dealt with those thoughts about what happens if it's us, if we're upset by Walker Valley, and they were able to kind of take those mental demons on and win that football game and come up with some stops late. But there were some things that they're going to try to clean up, and it's going to be hard to go in the Ray County and get that win. I've seen a lot of good teams go on the road to Ray County in the playoffs and either lose or just barely hang on to win. So it's going to be difficult. And I talked with Brad Taylor tonight on 5 Star Live, Carnes' head coach, and they have not faced any wing T all year long. And so to try to do that in short order is going to be difficult for that defense.
Jesse, do you see McMinn or Ray County, either one, if that's who it is, being able to give Powell any kind of game?
No, I don't. I think Powell's really determined to put last year behind them, and no matter what kind of offenses they're going to face in round 3, I don't think it's going to matter. I think they beat that McMinn County team with ease next week. And hats off to McMinn County, first off. I know Oak Ridge listeners don't want to hear that, but I remind you of what happened to McMinn County last year with having a really good football team that had college football players on it, future college football players on it, and not get to play because of COVID. And there was that whole controversy over what happened with Dobbins Bennett in McMinn County. And so they were able to win 6 games close this year, get that 2 seed, and then they knock off Oak Ridge tonight. But I think the feel-good story stops there. I think Powell beats them with ease next week.
Well, I figured as much, but I just wanted to make sure. You know, the Walker Valley thing last year, you could see it having some trouble because, you know, Walker Valley could throw it all over the lot. And Powell was, you know, could turn the ball over pretty quick. So that's interesting. Anything intriguing next week? Anything, you know, we talked to Kingston coach Pankey earlier. He's got to go to Giles County. He said he already looked on iMaps and it was 3 hours and 20 minutes left right now.
Yeah, I know you. I know the Fulton people know that trip to Giles County really well from about 10 years ago.
Brutal.
And it's a long trip, and Giles County's undefeated and feeling like they were probably about 10 years ago. So it's going to be a demanding challenge for Kingston, and we'll see if they can pull it off. But Coalfield and Midway in round 2 has kind of got my interest to level up. I think Midway pulled off a really nice win tonight, kind of pulling ahead there late in the second half against Unaka. And as y'all know, Midway can throw the football really well with Emmett Hagelin at quarterback and Caleb Goodman at wide receiver. And they got some other nice players as well. So, but I still think it's Coalfield who, at the end of the day, probably moves on and represents the greater Knoxville area deep into the 1A playoffs. But just that matchup just kind of jumped off off the bracket at me in 1A.
I tell you a matchup next week that sort of got me intrigued right now is Farragut coming off the high of beating Bearden, turning around and coming back and beating Science Hill, and now possibly going on the road to beat Bradley.
Yeah, and this is a game against Bradley Central that they lost on a last-second field goal in the regular season. When Farragut and Bradley Central get together, it's always a 3-point, 4-point game, just like it was last year and just like it was this year. So they probably remember the heartbreak of losing that game to Bradley Central, and they're going to get a chance to avenge that loss. And I didn't think Bradley Central looked all that great tonight, hanging on to beat Jefferson County. So just what a feel-good story for Farragut to have to win, like you said, in Week 11 just to get to the playoffs over your arch rival. They were down 28-7 tonight in that game on the road at Science Hill, and to rally and win is just remarkable. And we'll see what they have left in the tank.
Hey, take us through Westridge. What schools up in the Sullivan County area formed to form Westridge, who's 9-2, who plays Maryville next week?
Yeah, so this was their first ever year in varsity football, the first ever playoff game, and they win tonight over Cleveland. And Jonathan, those are the Sullivan South, the Sullivan North schools up there that consolidated. There might have been one more. I can't remember exactly, but 2 or 3 schools consolidated and to make that into a 6A football program. And they've had a really nice year, not just with this playoff victory, but just on the whole, what they were able to do probably midway through the season really started to come together as a team. I'm sure it was hard for a couple different rosters to combine, and they were probably rivals, and now they're trying to all play together and with the same goal in mind. So it took them a while to get going, and now here they are. But I definitely don't think they're on the level to challenge Maryville, who was probably really upset with the way it played tonight.
Well, Maryville's going to get to put somebody else on their list of who they've beaten. Westridge isn't on there yet.
No, but they will be. And like I said, Maryville was only up 21-14 on Dobbins Bennett tonight, and they had turnover there late in the first half, and I really kept Dobbins Bennett in it. So, and then eventually pulled away like Maryville does. But I think you'll see a really more mentally engaged, more motivated Maryville team in round 2, and that's bad news for Westridge.
Give us your thoughts on 4A. I know you've been keeping up with 4A. You thought the playoff would be the most intriguing around. Take us through that Fulton, Greenville, and the Elizabeth at AC, if you don't mind.
I mean, it's interesting that that Anderson County and Elizabethton are get a rematch here. Of course, they played in the regular season, and as your listeners know, that was the game where Anderson County just 3 days prior had learned that its quarterback Walker Martinez was not going to get to play that night. So they had to somehow piece together really quickly a game plan to take on the two-time defending state champions, and for the most part stayed in it for a while, and defensively were able to kind of hang around until Elizabethton finally pulled away. I think these are two different teams in that game. Than from that game, I think Elizabethton's gotten better, and I think Anderson County's gotten better with freshman Cody Miller back there at quarterback at times. And so it's still going to be a hard one to project. I mean, I would say Elizabethton's going to be the favorite. They're the defending state champions, and really put a whooping on Carter tonight. And so it looks like Elizabethton's got all their ducks in a row, and Anderson County kind of had to put the foot down on the gas there late in the second half and put away a Seymour team that was trying to win a playoff game for the first time in 17 years. So it's a tough one to project. Again, I think I like Elizabethton to win it, but not going to be surprised if Anderson County's defense keeps it in the game for quite some time, and who knows, maybe gives it a chance to win. But that Greenville-Fulton game is going to be electric. It's going to be two top-notch defenses going at it. You got big-time playmakers who can house any kind of play on offense, whether it's a quarterback run or run back, taking it to the house. And it's just, man, that's if there's one game that I want to see next week, it's got to be that one.
Well, I've been around for a while, and number one in maroon is as about electric as you can find.
Right, and you got him, and you got Mason Gudger, the running back for Greenville, who had over 100 yards rushing tonight, had 100 yards receiving tonight. He's a Mr. Football semifinalist. I'm sure Marcellus probably feels maybe snubbed that he didn't get in there in the Final Five. Maybe he's out to prove a point. But that Fulton defensive front is really going to have to disrupt that Greenville offense because they can get it done offensively. And I know Fulton's defensive front can get it done defensively. So it's just that one's going to be the hardest game, I think, next week to try and predict.
So, and I don't know anything about Greenville. Is Greenville's offensive line equally as good as Fulton's defensive line?
I don't. There's no guys on that offensive line who are like Power 5 guys.
Okay.
So with that in mind, I say with Fulton would probably have a little bit of an edge, but I'm sure Greenville's going to try to do something to fortify that offensive front, getting some type of fullback or somebody in there to help out on runs or pass pro or something. They fully know the threat that Fulton's going to have with Seth Vaughn and Keaton Vaughn up there, and so it's going to be a chess match with how Eddie Spradlin, the head football coach at Greenville, goes about his schematics against what they like to do defensively at Fulton. So I can't wait for that game. This is why I tweeted like in week 2 or week 3 that I couldn't wait for the 4A playoffs because of matchups like this.
I think Marmar's had about 700 yards rushing in the last 3 weeks. Pretty close, give or take a few yards. And I'm sure Greenville's going to do everything in their power. But, they've had enough time at Fulton to put some stuff in. I mean, tonight, Sullivan or Volunteer tries to score at the end of the half. They stop them. They've got all these people in the box. They run a little bubble screen, and the guy didn't get touched for 55 yards. So it's going to be an interesting chess match between two guys that know a lot about winning state championships.
If I have to give anybody an edge in this one, I think I have to give it to Greenville because of their secondary. I think those guys can match the athleticism of Marcellus and maybe come out and help out and stop him as much as they can and help in that run stop against him. And if he does get into open field, they have some guys who can maybe chase him down a little bit better than some of the opponents that Fulton's faced of late. So I'd probably still predict Greenville to win that game, but man, it's going to be a fantastic one.
Yeah, and I think just overall, Fulton having 34 guys in uniform and 11 guys going both ways could hurt them down the stretch.
Yeah, well, We've been saying that all year. Or I have been. I didn't know what they were going to look like depth-wise at this point at all. And they've had some attrition on that roster, some guys that no longer there, and some guys that have gotten hurt along the way. But it's still incredible that they're able to play at such a high level and continue winning without some type of stumble along the way because of just sheer depth.
Absolutely, it has been impressive. What are they, 8-3 now?
Yeah, 8-3, and I remember writing previews. I thought it would be good if they got to 6 or 7 wins, just because of depth concerns and not knowing what it would look like, and the players that they would have readily available in the latter weeks of the season. So it's hats off to the players for playing tough, and to the coaches for finding a way to adjust on the fly each week.
Jesse, thanks for calling in every week. I know that I think we might be here next week. We will be here next week. We will be here next week for sure. But after that, we'll have teams traveling, and we just don't know that we'll do another show. But we will be here next week. We appreciate you calling every week. Chase?
Jess, let me ask you one quick thing before we let you hop off here.
Yeah, sure.
Normally when we talk about coaching hot boards, we're talking about Tennessee Volunteers. There's been a lot of movement in the Knoxville area and Morgan County. Coaches resigning, coaches not coming back. Is there something that's causing all that, or are people not just happy where they are? And is that just the beginning of the dominoes falling?
Well, sometimes you just have a sort of quiet off season with maybe a handful of coaching changes, but I just think this is going to be one of those years where we have 10 to 15, and it's either because some of the guys have just reached the end of their careers, or it's going to be things just haven't worked out at certain programs. Coaches in this day and age burn out quicker because of just all that they have to deal with, not just off the field. And so we kind of saw that, I think, a little bit with Bearden, with Morgan Schindlever. I think he just couldn't do it anymore. He can handle the on-field stuff, but just everything that goes on off the field, it just wears on you a lot faster nowadays. And so it's just going to be one of those crazy years. As I've told people, I've made a list of schools that I think could be seeing a coaching change within the next month or two, and so far 4 teams on that list have already been checked off. And I'm not going to mention any schools. I think that, again, that'd be disrespectful to the guys that are in place there, but it's just there's about 10 more schools that I'm going to kind of keep an eye on in this postseason / off season and see if that happens.
He's making a list.
Hey, go over the 4 real quick. Hardin Valley, Bearden.
We got Oliver Springs and Wartburg, I think, was a team that has a coach opening as well. So
the Wartburg thing can get interesting.
Yes. Yeah, and I don't have a lot of contacts down there. You guys probably know who gets that job before I will, but it's
yeah. Well, Jesse, we appreciate you. Always good, and you see how politically correct he answered your question.
He did. That's why he's the best in the business.
And that's why later I might get texts and phone calls about how mad people are at me. But I sell toilet paper for them. We're all good.
That's right. All right, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Jesse. Thanks, buddy.
See ya.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Anderson County wins 39-21.
Yes, Anderson County won. You can go watch them play Elizabeth next week.
No, I usually watch it on TV.
You should watch it on TV.
All right,
caller. They're doing that nowadays.
I wish they'd go. I understand, but I wish they'd go.
Have a good night.
Thank you, caller.
Okay, bye.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Jonathan and Chase, how y'all doing?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good. Big Rockwood win, wasn't it?
It was a big win, Eddie. It was a cold one tonight.
I didn't get to go, but I wish I'd have to have somebody to hook my wheelchair up by the bumper and ride the back of the bumper.
Well, there's some people down there that have probably done it before. We can take care of it.
I bet old Chase could.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we'll find a way to get you there, but a big win for the Tigers. Another second-round matchup next week, so we need everybody that can to come out and support them next week. They're taking on a good Hampton team, so they're going to need all the help they can get.
I remember years ago I traveled to Hampton to watch Rockwood play Hampton up there at Hampton.
That's not an easy drive.
It's not. Are you going to talk about Tennessee football any extra while?
Yeah, we'll talk about Tennessee football starting at 11:30.
All right. Y'all do. Let me tell y'all, you do a good job.
Hey, thank you very, very much. Hang on to 11:30. We'll talk about Heupel and the Vols.
Okay.
All right, brother. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, bud.
All right.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, man, I just wanted to say, how about that green wave? Went up there to Unica, took care of business.
Hey, the Fighting Road Trailways, as we like to call them. I know they've got a great coaching staff, too, but I personally really like Coach Trailway. They went up there and took care of business and even came back in the fourth quarter for a big victory.
I tell you what, we're going right down 27 next week, and our big offensive line is going to shove it down Cofield's throat, and we're going to make them like it.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah, it's going to happen. We're shoving it right down their throat, and they're going to like it every bit. Every bit.
Is Cofield on Highway 27 or Highway 62?
Hey, we'll see him next Friday night. We'll see him at 7 o'clock. We'll meet him at half. We'll meet at 50-yard line.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's get some Cofield in here. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, we'll meet him at the 50-yard line.
Let's get this party started right now.
I bet you it won't end up like it did in Midway down the river.
There's only one way, and that's to play
it. Next Friday night. You give us 6 good refs that call the game fair, we'll beat Cofield next Friday night. I guarantee you.
Well, you'll either have 5 officials or 7 officials.
Their secondary cannot hang with our wide receivers. Absolutely not. I'm talking about Caleb. I'm talking about Austin. I'm talking about Seth. They cannot, Brandon. They can't hang with none of them boys.
Let's go. I'm fired up.
I'm telling you, we're gonna line up and we're gonna shove it down their throat all night next week. I'm telling you, all night.
It's gonna be a packed house there. So you better tell the Midway faithful to get there early.
We done told the boys we're gonna put the chin straps on real tight. It's gonna be a good old-fashioned dog fight.
Let's go.
See how much heart we're gonna see how much heart they got down there in Cofield. We're gonna see how much heart they got.
I've already got my green on.
Oh, that's good. That green wave's gonna come down there to Cofield. We're taking some big old cans of Raid, baby. Big old cans of Raid we're bringing with us, and we're gonna spray out the goddamn walk.
All right. Whoa, a little too far there. A little too far there.
Well, I think you're going to speak to us a little nicer, aren't you, Gavin?
What's happening?
We've had somebody say GD on the air just now, so he got a little excited. And it wasn't your dad.
Seriously?
Yeah. Hey, congratulations on a big win tonight. I know it was a dog fight.
Yeah. It really was. You know, we came in, we were prepared, but, you know, we lacked physicality early, and that really got to us because Seymour was a physical team with a big running back, and, you know, they kind of got some luck, and they got a bunch of third down conversions, and they drove down the field. They put up 21, and we had some miscues on offense, and we only put up 14. So yeah, they did a great job of keeping it close early, and you know we did a better job coming back out fired up in the second half.
Absolutely. So in the second half, I think Coach Gillum said earlier, y'all scored on every possession. You had the ball in the second half. Is that correct?
I may have to fact check them because I do think we punted it once.
Okay.
Going into the fourth quarter or coming out of the fourth quarter. But other than that, yeah, 3 touchdowns, and, you know, obviously 1 or 2 drives where you're just trying not to turn the ball over.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, talk to us a little bit about you've watched these battles since you were in middle school. You're now playing in these battles. Talk about what it means to play for Anderson County and play in a second, a third round game against an Elizabethan or a Greenville type team.
I've been waiting for somebody to ask me that type of question for a long time. It really does mean a lot to me. I've watched, of course, my brother and all of his friends play these games, win some, lose some, and there's a lot of emotion in these games. And Elizabethan's a great team. You know, we couldn't get them the first time. We're hoping to come back and get them this time, but it really does mean a lot to me because, you know, I've been watching these type of battles not even since middle school, I was 4 years old, I mean, I remember Tanner Williams chucking up the balls to multiple receivers and having a good playoff run. You know, I can remember all those things. You know, I've been at, I'd like to say me and a couple other stuff, so like Garrison Terry and Cole Phillips have been at every game since like 2008, 2009, because it means that much to us. It really does.
Yeah, and that place will be rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
And Coach Gillum said, you know, I think you found out on Wednesday and you went up there and played that game on Friday, so this time you'll have a little more time to prepare. You got a freshman quarterback. Now, do you all run a little Wildcat package with you and Moog both back there in the backfield?
Yeah, we go to that when we need to run the ball a little bit more, kind of switch things up on them.
Gotcha. I noticed tonight on one of the pictures that both of you are standing back there together, maybe 4th and 1, and you end up going over the top for a touchdown. Talk about that play a little bit.
I can give you the exact scenario, because I was walking off the field. I looked at Nick and I was like, I'm gonna have to go him. I'm gonna tell him, cut these suckers. I'm gonna just jump over them. I walked straight up to Gillum. I said, let them get under these guys and let me just go over the top. If it's not, I can make it. And he said, you know what? I think that's a pretty good idea. we said, wedge, move. If there's any chance he can make it, give it. And he did. You know, I think his option was, if there was a chance I was going to get tackled before I got the jump, that he was going to pull it. And it worked pretty good. It was a good play. Lyman did a good job getting downhill.
See, that right there sort of proves my point that, you know, these guys know what they're doing. You know, I think Chadwell and Gillum get too much credit sometimes. I mean, there you go. He called the play.
He knew what to
Give
do.
me the ball. Give me the ball.
Let booby spin.
So, hey, Gavin, what's that, buddy?
Nothing.
Okay, hey, congratulations, and hopefully we'll be there to watch you next Friday night against Elizabeth, and best of luck, and have a good week of preparation.
Hey, thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
See you guys.
All right, have a good one.
Hey, before we jump to that one, he said something that kind of stuck out. He remembers the kids that he watched. They're not kids now, they're adults, but he remembers going to games and watching the former players play. That kind of stuck out to me. You know, people are watching you. I'm not trying to get very sentimental on this show, but, you know, there's kids now watching him play that want to model themselves after that. So,
yeah,
you should know somebody's always watching you.
If you look back at Davies, you know, and he's saying Tanner Williams, if you look back at Davies' run, Gavin's probably 17 or 18, and that's 13 or 14 years.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that night right there, they said Anderson County scored 2 touchdowns that didn't get counted as touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that was a tough loss for them. And now he's watched his brother go through, and now he's experienced it. And, you know, smart coaches listen to good players, and he's calling his own plays now.
Call your own plays.
So you got to love that. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Big John?
How you doing, RSP?
Good. How's it going?
We're doing good, Hey, talk a little bit about, I'll set this up for you, quarterback at Central High School, punter, first 2 years in high school, you win 2 state championships, and now, you know, you go on you play a game tonight and you win. Talk a little bit about how that postseason run is and just the mentality that Central has right now in football.
Well, you know, it's a long season. You got, 10 weeks to get ready for the playoffs, and you ultimately want to be playing your best football when you get there. And so just to, keep improving as the season goes on and be able to, be rocking on all cylinders when it comes to playoff time is ideal.
Now, I look here, you all go on the road next week to Daniel Boone, is that correct?
Yes.
Is this the first time that you all been up that way, or have you had to play them before?
I believe the Central played them in 2017 there.
Okay, I gotcha. And then, obviously, from the West game to this Friday night, big turnaround there. Had to get the team going back in the right direction. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think, West game was a lot of, didn't play our best football. We made a lot of mistakes, and so, we just had to go back to the drawing board and get back to what we knew how to do and, just keep looking at what we did wrong and improve on those type of things.
Now, I've read a little bit about a sophomore running back that's sort of coming in its own over that way. Talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, Frank Johnson's, he freshman year, you could tell he was going to be a player, and in the summer, I mean, he really got physically, he hit the weight room hard in the off season, and he doesn't say a whole lot. He comes to work every single day. Is very coachable and very receptive to the critiques he gets from either me or different coaches, and he's very, very dependable, and just taking what he's been offered and improved on that as the season's gone on, and had a lot of success.
Good. Now we're going to have a little bit of fun with you now. Gavin No just told us he called his own play tonight. Do you ever get to call your own play?
I have a few times, yes.
See, there you go. I mean, I'm telling you, all these coaches want to take all the credit for these scores and stuff, and now we've got two fine young men, one a running back and one a quarterback, telling us tonight they've called their own number.
Coach is overrated. Let these kids play.
So, all right, make sure Pooh gets some rest. That way he's ready for this weekend.
All right.
Take care, RSP. Thanks for calling.
See ya.
Yes, sir. How fun is that? You come in, you win 2 state championships. And, last year they didn't have the best of seasons. This year, probably looking at a quarterfinal matchup with West. At West. A team that just beat them.
Be tough.
2 weeks ago. But I think it's one of those situations where losing the game the way they did, West might overlook them.
Could.
And Central's got West in that game the last several years. So they got to have a little bit of confidence going there. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm surviving right now. That's the main thing, I guess.
Can't keep a good man down, is what I've been told.
And I don't know so much about that, but I'm hanging on. So I've made it through one surgery today, so I got another maybe Monday. Don't know just quite yet, so we'll see. But I'm hanging on. But what I called in tonight, hey, first of all, Cox says our Oak Ridge caller called in. I wouldn't expect he would.
No, we've not heard from the little weasel. He lost tonight. He went to 3-8 on the year, and he's called 3 times. So I don't think he's calling back.
No, he's not calling. Well, I'm gonna tell you why Oak Ridge lost tonight. If you guys got just a few minutes, let me tell you. I'm sure y'all like to know. Okay, so I listened to the ball game tonight, because I'm a big Oak Ridge fan. So I listened to David Clary and that other guys with him. Oak Ridge got beat tonight, guys, because the field was a little wet in the middle.
Really? That's it.
So they had some weather. And then they got beat because the play clock would run too fast, and they couldn't get the plays off in time. And then they got beat because coaches.
No doubt.
They got beat because the coaches couldn't get the plays in in time. And then they just, flat out got beat. I mean, they did come back and make it a fairly interesting game, but I personally don't think they were ever in the ball game tonight. But, you never did hear somebody just say, this has just not been our year. And this happens to everybody. I mean, it's not like it's not happened to other schools across the state of Tennessee or in the country. Sometimes things happen. So, but Oak Ridge got beat for a few reasons tonight, and it was weather. The biggest reason they got beat is because I put a little jinx on them. When they didn't take me to state tournament last year, we were right on the bus, so I've jinxed them out. So
you put the Hebo on them.
Put the Hebo on them. So they're out of the playoffs. So, I hate it for Coach Gaddis. He's a good guy, but, that's just the way it rolls tonight. They're 3-8, and when they have their awards banquet, they can celebrate 3-8.
Well, and what's crazy is who could have ever predicted that? They had some transfers come in from West. They lost some people to graduation, and they played in the state finals last year, and now this year they're 3-8 with a round 1 exit.
Now, let's be honest. I really think the graduation probably, when you actually look at the graduation of what all they lost last year, they lost some good football players. They lost a quarterback, I think, that had started for maybe 4 years or 3 years. So they lost a quarterback that had a lot of experience. You know, Oak Ridge had some trouble this year right out of the gate. I'm only going to repeat what Coach Gaddis said on a radio show. This goes to show you how much I know about them. I listen to them. So I don't get told at the drugstore or at the barber shop or something about Oak Ridge. I listen to the coach talk. And he said, you know, they've lost 8 offensive linemen, some to injuries and some to school. I'm assuming academics. I don't know. He didn't elaborate on it. I'm only repeating what he said. So if you just take what they lost last year and all their kids that they've lost this year, I mean, that's a big hit in college football. I mean, college football and high school football. So that's a hit. I mean, you could take that and put that on any team, and that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt bad. Man, the Midway guy was fired up, wasn't he?
Yeah, the Midway guy's ready. Brad wanted to make sure that he knew that was on Highway 62, not 27. That way he made it to the
What I
game.
would have liked for him to have done was maybe to have left his name or told the people Cofield what it looked like, because I'm sure they'd bet him at the 50-yard line next Friday night.
Well, we got his phone number.
Well, maybe they ought to put it out there. But anyway, and you had one of my favorite coaches called in tonight, Coach Webb. You know, he's a silent guy. And, man, I hate he won tonight the way he did by running the football, because he loves running the football.
You know, he just hated having to run it, didn't you?
Huh?
He just hated having to run it all night.
Oh, I know he did. He hates throwing the ball and with a passion, and I don't know how many times he throwed it, but if he throwed it once, it's once too many.
That's true.
But he's I know he's had some injuries this year with the QB, and I heard his response to y'all's question. Man, I hope he wins. I think it looks like, will he have 3 straight games at home possibly?
No, they will have to go to South Green.
Okay. Well, he's a good football coach, and I hope the injury bug doesn't bite him somewhere down the road. But he's a good football coach. But man, Midway is fired up. That's all I got to say. They're ready to go, and I don't know where 27 or something or whatever he said would take him, but I hope somebody gets him GPS for next Friday night.
Well, hey, if you want to find him, he'll be at the 50, baby. Strap it on tight.
Yeah, he'll be strapping on tightly. Well, I'm going to guarantee you one thing, and I've not seen this year's version of Cofield play, but I'll bet you Cofield straps it on. I will guarantee it. And if he doesn't think that they won't, come on, wear yours loose, and you'll find out. So, what high school playoffs, man, that's what it's all about, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And here's what I'll say. I've not got to see either one of them in person. They've played once. Cofield has a great program, as Coach said. They got a great program. We respect those guys. Play them every year. And if I could give some advice to the caller, it'd be this. Careful what you ask for.
Yeah, no kidding. Careful what you ask for.
Careful what you ask
got
for.
that right.
Hey, Dave, we're switching over to college football right now while we got you on here. Then we're going to take a commercial break. What do you see tomorrow in the Tennessee-Kentucky game?
I think Tennessee's got to do one thing. Well, they got to do more than one thing, but I think the thing that sticks out to me the most they got to do, I think Tennessee's got to rush the ball tomorrow night big time. And I think if they rush the ball big time, and then that'll help the passing game a little bit. And then Kentucky does have a receiver or two up there. Tennessee's defense on the back end is going to have to play really well. So we'll see. I hate to predict that game because I'm going to say. Let's see here. I'm going to say 28-17.
I think Tennessee can outscore Kentucky. I'm going to agree with you. I'll make a prediction on a score later, but I think Tennessee can outscore Kentucky. And Kentucky's got a really good defense, but I think the Vols can manufacture enough points that they win this football game.
And I also think if Tennessee wins that ball game tomorrow night, that's probably what Tennessee's going to need to put them back recruiting-wise. I know people are going to say, well, what about Georgia or what about Alabama or whoever? Well, I could care less about them. Some of those teams y'all are talking about, that people are talking about, Auburn's not on the schedule this year, so why worry about whether you can beat them this year or not? Wait till they're on the schedule. Let's worry about who we got to play. I think that'll help Tennessee. I think that'll help Tennessee's program a lot to beat that. That'll be a big-time win, not only for the program but for the coach, too. I think they give him a little stability. So I think Tennessee tomorrow night, 28-17.
2017. Hey, we both picked upsets last week in high school playoff football. Neither one of us won.
Yeah, no kidding.
Who do you see maybe winning? And this week, I'll give you an example. Farragut was the upset this week. For me, Farragut going on the road to Science Hill and winning was the upset. Who do you see next week as the upset?
Well, I'd almost say Fulton beating Greenville.
Ooh, that would be an upset. That would be.
But y'all, there'd be some people maybe go crazy on there. And, I tell you what, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say I think Fulton goes to Greenville next week and wins the ball game. I think they will. They'll win the ball game. There's going to be a lot of teams disappointed next Friday. There's going to be a lot of teams locally disappointed, and they're going to go home next Friday night, and those games won't be an upset. I think those teams that are traveling on the road and coming our way will win next Friday night. So I'm going to pick Fulton in an upset, and it would be an upset. So I'm going to pick Fulton next week in an upset. I'm not going to pick the score because I don't really have a clue, but I'm going to pick the upset, Fulton.
Fulton's got they got a little guy that's got the heart of a lion over there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, we'll say, hey, Cox, and you've been saying this all year long. We won't talk about coaching staffs having trouble and stuff. Man, South Doyle has just went for a team that was possibly a contender to be in the state championship playoff game. I mean, here's a team that, man, they went just upside down, didn't they?
It went south, and it went south quick, and I think they're just inconsistent on both sides of the ball. I mean, the night they played Fulton, they looked as good as they could look. The night they played Anderson County, they looked good for a couple quarters. They looked bad for a couple quarters. And then you go up there tonight and you jump up 14-7, and you get beat 49-14.
Well, I understand that, but we'll see what happens next Friday night. I hope, if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, maybe I can be there. If y'all decide to have a show, if you are, I'll try to be there if I'm able to. So.
We will have a show.
You will have a show? Okay.
Yeah, and it will be our last one, unless something crazy happens.
I'll do my level best to be there, but that sort of ain't left up to me right now. It's left up to some doctors.
I got you, brother. Hey, we'll be praying for you to get better. If you need something, let me know.
I'll do it, man. I appreciate. Hey, Chase, appreciate you filling in, man.
Hey,
you're
always
a lifesaver, and you're a big contributor to the show too. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate you filling in, man.
I just try to do it half as good as you do.
I don't do that good job, so if you're doing half, you're doing better than me, man. Y'all have a good night, okay?
Thank you, buddy.
All right, see you, man.
Hey, before we catch that break, got a lot of people on the secret text line want some shout-outs. So I got to shout out some coaching staffs. Justin O'Toole's tuned in. Ostrowski, Ron Treadway, SOR's tuned in. We need Cofield Yellow Jackets to come in and start calling in so we can rub these sticks together, get this fire going.
It's going.
It's going. Anyway, okay.
Well, we're going to take a break. The free medical clinic Friday night scoreboard show will be right back. Please remember to visit them at fmcor.org for all your medical needs in Roane, Morgan, and Anderson County. We are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
To be honest, I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
I checked what the CDC says and spoke with my doctor about the potential side effects. It definitely made me much less anxious. She told me if I have some arm pain or feel tired, that's completely normal as my body builds a defense to the virus.
I was willing to take the vaccine to protect me, my family, and my friends.
Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
American Outdoor Equipment has a great new location in Rockwood. They are a Branson tractor dealer with various sizes to choose from. Branson's greatest asset is their strength, quality, and features. But American Outdoor Equipment also has Bobcat mowers. You can expect the best when it comes to performance, durability, and comfort with a Bobcat mower. Or how about a Dixie chopper mower? They're the world's fastest lawn mowers. They have a large service and parts department. They are family owned and operated, plus they offer in-house financing. That's American Outdoor Equipment in Rockwood.
1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
Beautiful yards make a statement, and beautiful yards come from Simplicity Mowers. Their exclusive free-floating mower decks with full-width rollers track the contours of your yard for a perfect cut. So visit your neighborhood Simplicity dealer today and start the conversation about your lawn. Simplicity, the way to a beautiful lawn.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Welcome back here to the free medical clinic Friday night scoreboard. We've had someone come up from from Coalfield, and here's the can of Raid, and it will be on the 50-yard line Friday night. Buckle up your chin strap and come meet my guy from Midway with a can of Raid. So,
college football.
They're coming from everywhere tonight.
Everywhere.
They're coming from everywhere tonight. So the Raid, it's on.
It's on.
It's on.
And
you know,
we just talked about small school.
I wish our caller would call back because I love his passion. If he could lose the language, obviously he watches the show, and I love that because if you're Midway, you've got to have that attitude that the caller has,
or you're not gonna.
Or you're not gonna. You don't have a chance. You got to have that attitude. You don't stand a chance. You got to walk in, not necessarily to awake the sleeping giant, but you got to walk in like you're going to take care of business. Yeah. One year, I think this is funny. 2005 or 2006, one of the two. It might have been 6. Anderson County comes out of the locker room, and they're just, they're nonstop over at Fulton. And they had Freeney and they had Rogan.
Yep.
It was unbelievable. And and I remember just going back and forth, and Rogan looked at their quarterback and he said, "Hey, homie, careful what you ask for." And by gosh, it was 42-0 like that. So, you come in, with confidence, but maybe not necessarily wake up the sleeping giant there.
Hey, Alco used to do that too back in the Rogan days and the Warren, Lindsay, Fiegler. It was over before it started when they come out of the locker room.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, caller. You're on there.
Hey there, guys. What do you think about tomorrow, is Kentucky got a pretty strong offense, but not as strong as Alabama's?
Well, they're definitely no Alabama.
No, Kentucky's offense would be their weak part of their game. Kentucky's defense is really good, but their offense would be their weaker part of their game. So I think Tennessee's offense is better than Kentucky's offense.
Yes.
But Kentucky's defense is a lot better than Tennessee's defense. They're just really solid.
But they got exposed by the Pirate last week.
They did.
And his coaching is up and down like...
Yeah. It's all about matchups. I mean, we've got a young man that played at Fulton basketball for us that plays down there, linebacker, and his offense dictates so much on matchups. And that matchup, see, there you go. They outscored Kentucky.
Yeah.
They were able to put 31 points up on the board. And unless Tennessee plays bad and turns the ball over, I don't know that Kentucky can score 24 points, 28 points.
No. And Tennessee's catching points right now.
Really?
Which that's going back and forth during the week.
Is that like a pick 'em or a +1 or
1+1? So you never know what's going to happen. Tennessee should be healthy. Everybody's back. Am I wrong in saying that? Or is our O-line back?
I didn't know if the kid from Texas that was leading us in tackles after 2 games was back or not, but I'm not sure. I can't speak on that, but I think our offense is better than theirs. Their defense is better than ours, so I think it's going to be a heck of a football game. I've actually told my wife last night, I said, we might get there and watch it.
It's not a bad drive.
No, and I looked, and tickets aren't that bad. They're less than $100 a ticket for, 10 rows, 15 rows from the field.
Yeah.
So,
and that place is small. It's not like you get a bad...
It's a good place to watch a college football game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it'd be a really good football game.
Do it.
I think it'd be a really good football game. So, but anyway, if that answers your question, caller, what do you think the score is going to be, caller?
I believe the score is going to be Tennessee, maybe 28-14.
28-14. That's a good one.
I'll take it. Well, hey, we appreciate you calling.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right,
hey, be good, buddy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'm the feller that called in. That announcer wanted me to call back in. I'll lose profanity. What you want to know?
Well, no, we were talking about we love your passion, and it was a great call. We think that's the passion that Midway's got to take up to Cofield.
Well, I can tell you right now, sir, with full confidence in my heart, I just do not believe that Cofield's going to beat us twice in one season. I just don't believe it. I do not believe it. Don't believe it.
Are you at Midway? Do you have a son that plays, or are you just a big fan?
No, I have a nephew that plays on the team.
Okay. That was a big win. They came back, I believe, down 2 scores tonight at the end of the game. So
we knew what was at the end of the rainbow. You know what was at the end of the rainbow? It's a game against Cofield.
That's true.
We wanted that thing real bad.
Caller, were you at the game?
They played us south of the river this year, and I really do feel those 2 touchdowns that were called back, that game should have went in Midway's favor, but that's all right. We get a round 2 at it. That's all.
Hey, did you get to go to the Unaka game tonight?
Yes, sir. We're on our way back. We're on 40 westbound right now.
Okay, I got you.
We've been partying since we left up north. We're ready to go. Hey, I'm telling you what, our boys got good condition. We can do this game tonight if you want to. We come on down 62 right now. We can play tonight. Go call coach. Over there at Cofield. They want to play it tonight. We play it tonight. It don't matter to us.
Hey, caller, I got a quick question for you. What happened late in that game? I know 21 or 14 quick points. What happened?
We were down 21-26. They had the ball about the 27-yard line. Quarterback rolled out on a rollout and tried to throw kind of like a slant pass. My nephew, number 5, picked it off, and then we went on down the field.
Good.
Hey, we were talking to Coach Treadway earlier. What do you think about those kids? Not a lot of kids on the roster. I think Coach Treadway said 22, 23. Just goes to show that there's some tough kids that probably have to play both ways, and a lot of them probably don't even come off the field till the game's over.
Well, I tell you what, the boys down there south of the river, they some tough kids. we will be ready to play next Friday night. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you. Whether we play them in Coalfield, we play them Timbuktu, wherever they want to play, we'll play them. We can play them at their home, with neutral side. It don't matter to us. We're ready to play next Friday night.
Well,
we came up here. We came on a business trip up north. We took care of business. We won the golden ticket. Now we get to play who we want to play.
And now you're partying on the way back home. That's the only way to do it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's what we do south of the river, baby. That's what we do south of the river.
Hey, caller, have fun tonight, man. Enjoy the weekend.
Yes, sir. Hey, where's them Coalfield callers at?
They must be asleep.
I don't know what's going on. They had a big win tonight. They played a 4 seed. They didn't even have no competition down there. We're going to give them some competition next week.
They already in bed. They didn't get to party on the way home on 40 westbound.
Oh, yeah, they got to play that little home game, didn't they?
That's right. They had a home game.
Huh?
That's
got
right.
that home game down there?
Yeah. But it's much more fun than winning on the road, isn't it, caller?
How'd that game go down there? What was it, 58-0?
Yeah, 58-0.
Over halftime?
That's over halftime.
Oh, man, ain't gonna be that. I don't think it's going to be that way Friday night, next Friday night. Woo! Don't think.
Hey, y'all be safe.
You ain't putting 58 on Midway next Friday night. I guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that. Because like I said before, we're going to take that offensive line. We're going to take them wide receivers right on down to Coalfield, and we're going to pass that ball all day on that secondary. That secondary is not ready.
I love
not
it.
ready.
Caller, have a good night. Be safe, buddy.
Yes, sir. You too.
See you, man. Oh, man. Winning those games on the road, they're a lot more fun than winning at home.
I bet he ain't driving home. I bet he's a rider.
It don't matter. Either way, he's having. No, you're right. He's not driving. Yeah, he's right. He's right.
He's right.
Yeah, he's right. No, but he don't care. He's ready for Coalfield. Yeah, he's ready for Coalfield. Well, as the lines are slowing down here, I'll let you take over a little bit about Tennessee, Kentucky tomorrow. What do you see happening?
Well, before we get to that, let's say I don't think we'll be taking any punishments from the NCAA.
You don't?
We concluded the investigation this week. It doesn't seem like a bowl ban is coming. I talked to a buddy of mine. He doesn't think that's going to benefit Pruitt in any way. You know, that I think we've got rid of the problem and the problems. I still think he'll get some money, but I mean, maybe I just feel like we're going to give him something because that's what we do. We give people money. We give Bruce Pearl money.
I don't know. He's made the wrong people mad. When you got Rick Barnes coming after you, telling you to shut up.
That's basically Rick Barnes cussing you out.
Yeah.
You know, him saying that.
I mean,
the deacon.
And Phil Fulmer says, buddy, we did all we could do for you, and it's your fault.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're giving on this one. And Fulmer's been taking money for a long time.
He took money on the way out.
What'd he take? He paid Kevin Steele a bunch of money just for showing up for a couple of days.
I think he's making about $35,000 a month.
Wow.
That's almost what you make.
That's Ron Berry money.
That's Ron Berry money.
Yeah. That's something else. Well, I had a text here that says Tennessee 38, Kentucky 17. I don't know. I want to say Tennessee wins a close one. I think this staff is doing a pretty good job. I think the kids love playing for them.
Yes.
I think they play hard. So I think Tennessee wins this ball game 28-24.
I like it. I think it'd be big for Heim. It obviously would be a big win for him and for this team and getting closer to being bowl eligible. You can kind of look at this.
31-28, somewhere in that range. Vegas usually pretty good.
I don't know how they do that.
They're amazing.
I do not understand it.
There's a reason DraftKings and MGM and all those guys are just marketing like crazy.
Just taxing the poor.
Yes.
Just killing it.
Yeah.
But,
I'll tell you this. I don't agree with the caller. I think Coalfield wins. I think Rockwood wins.
Oakdale's going to have a tough matchup on the road.
Oh, the road, the travel's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? How do you go about that? Hopefully Coach has a little experience on how to get the kids up there, feed them, get them, that's a hard one.
Kingston's going to have a tough road.
I'm telling you, that drive to Giles County, you get on 840 and you just wonder where you're driving to. Is this ever going to end?
And then you get there, and the stadium is remarkable.
Really?
The Roane County people that are going down to that football game, the stadium at Giles County is remarkable.
Turf, grass?
Turf, brick columns in the end zones with brick walls on each side with nice bleachers, press box, unbelievable. Really good atmosphere. Giles County parties before they play. They're tailgating down there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So, you know, that game. Anderson County next Friday night.
How far can they go?
I just think due.
I don't put you on the spot, but
no, it's fine. Due to just some absolutely horrendous luck.
Yeah.
I don't see them winning. And they can use that for motivation. And I'm not disrespecting them at all. I just think they just not had a lot of luck. And you go back, you have Stanton Martin gets hurt at Greenville, tears his ACL. They were rolling in that game, looking good. You lose, you know, some other kids, and then you lose your quarterback this year, 5-6 weeks in. You got to have some good fortune.
Yeah.
You know, think about what Maryville has done. They've also been. What's that? I do think they're due some good luck, and it would be so. It would be so Anderson County if they beat them, because this is a time that nobody's picking them.
Yeah.
But you're talking about just some bad fortune over the last few years, and then last year wasn't bad fortune. Last year was just. Greenville expected to win. AC was hoping to win. So I'll call a spade on that. I was there.
Yeah.
I didn't get there to the third quarter, and you could feel the tide turning. But I would love to see Anderson County beat Elizabethton. I think it's doable because Elizabethton don't have as many weapons. They've got a really good quarterback, but the supporting cast is not as good. And anytime you've got 25 on your team in white, he's a dog.
Yeah.
He can will his team.
Play.
Yeah. So if he gets going downhill and they get ahead, I bet Elizabethton don't get on the field much. You'll get a dose of 25. So that's probably the most intriguing game to me to go watch. And then moving forward, I think one of the biggest games in this area, as you see it unfold, is what's going to happen to Cofield, South Pitt matchup, Rockwood, South Green, the overall Maryville Oakland game, Powell West. I think there's a lot of intriguing matchups in our area, but to say that. We'll say that we'll see everybody back here next Friday night.
That's
the
true.
Following Friday night, a lot of our teams will be traveling. No real reason to have a show, but we will be back here next Friday night on our free medical clinic Friday night scoreboard. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to all of our callers.
Thanks to Raid.
It'll be there on the 50. Strap up and be ready to go. Coach O'Toole will be ready too.
Coach O'Toole's ready. Former Tony Brown's out there watching. Shout out to Uncle Tony. A lot of people watching. Before we jump off here, we talked about some of those head coaching vacancies, and you may know more than I do and can't on air talk about it. How do you see some of that stuff shaking out?
I don't have anything to hide. If the Jermaine Copeland hire at Wartburg goes down, that's an unbelievable hire for Wartburg. I've heard he wants to be a head football coach. If he does it, congratulations. If Wartburg hires him, you know, be a good hire. They'd have to be some, you know, things going around. You know, Oliver Springs, what are they going to do? I've heard 2 or 3 names today about that job. 3 weeks ago, I heard it was a guy's job on the staff. Today, I hear it might be a guy
from out of town or from outside.
From Oak Ridge.
Interesting.
Not very far outside. I hear Oak Ridge today. So a lot going on there. I will say this before we go off the air. I forgot to give our girls from Anderson County, a school that we cover, their volleyball team got beat in the Final Four in the state volleyball tournament. So congratulations to them on a great season. They've got a really good program up there. Kingston won a state tournament in golf. So a lot of good things going on in our area right now. Glad nobody's been COVID, like McMinn was last year. So luckily that's going in the right direction for everybody, and hopefully that continues on. Johnson County didn't want a butt kicking. They weren't worried about COVID.
That's right.
They didn't want a butt kicking. I'm interested to see how TOSP handles that.
Hey, that's where the prophet Little John said, if you're scared, go to church.
There you go. There you go. So they should have played that football game, but they didn't want that butt kicked.
They didn't want the smoke.
They didn't. So next week kind of separates the men from the boys in high school football.
It's moving day. It's moving week.
Yeah, what was that? Is you're either a contender or a pretender. I think next week is sort of that week that separates the men from the boys.
That's true.
And then from there, you never know what happened. If you make it to the quarters or semis, you never know what's going to happen. Central's proven that. Central won 2 state championships, and they weren't the best team around. But they won it because they're the best team that night.
That's all you got to be.
Yeah. So interested to see what happens. But I do think a contender in our area that we cover all the time is Cofield. I think they're a contender. Never know what'll happen when they play. But I think
kids are kids.
Yeah, I think they're a contender. I think Anderson County was. But it's hard to win without a seasoned quarterback this time of year.
That's very true.
And the thing that Davey said tonight that scares me the most is we were not real physical up front. That's not Anderson County football. That's not Anderson County football at all. So, tell you what, a lot of people in our area got a lot, some texts from our 1A people. Never hurts to see Greenback lose in the playoffs.
Never does.
So you know that feeling, but that's going on. Catholic surprised me tonight with that right there. We'll take his final call.
Hey, the pipeline has dried up for Greenback.
For Greenback. Yeah. For Greenback. Yeah. The Catholic deal. Greenback's coach went to Catholic.
Yes.
As the OC. Catholic's just playing big boy football. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, on a lighter note, what are they going to do to Rogers for Green Bay? They're going to, since he told them he...
a bad week to be Aaron Rodgers, right?
So I'm going to address this. Okay, caller. He didn't say he was vaccinated.
Okay.
He said he was immunized. He contacted doctors that he has been seeing for some time. He was allergic to 2 of the ingredients that was in the Moderna and the Pfizer. The J&J shot at the time was not safe, he felt like, and had some, negative feedback. He did not say he was vaccinated. So he did not lie to the media on air.
But he misled him a little bit.
Actually, he just told him exactly what his doctors told him.
That's true. A follow-up question, he may have went deep into it.
He did exactly what his doctors told him to do, and that was and he laid that out there for him, and they didn't ask a follow-up question. Now, everyone on his team and everyone in the NFL, as far as the league office, knew he was not vaccinated. They knew why he wasn't vaccinated, and he knew the process that he went through for 2 weeks to make the comment he did.
And he was just waiting for it to get out, for something like that to happen. If you listen to Pat McAfee, he was on there for about 45 minutes today. Kind of pleaded his case,
and he has no case to plead. He has the freedom and the right not to be vaccinated.
Right.
And he did what his doctors told him to do. He doesn't owe an apology to anybody. The woke media wants to make this a bigger deal than what it is.
Yeah.
That being said, he's going to catch some flack.
But here's the deal. His team will stand behind him more than ever.
That's true.
More than ever. Is Aaron Rodgers got some baggage and has done some stuff that probably his team was just absolutely irate about? Absolutely. But on this one, they'll have his back. They'll have his back. If that okay, what's that?
Is he going to play this weekend?
No,
No, he's out. It might be out next week, depending on the days he's got to be out.
Yeah. But I would not be a bit surprised if Green Bay don't represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And I'm a Cowboys fan. But when it comes playoff time, if Aaron Rodgers is playing at home or he's playing late in the playoffs, you don't want none. He's hard to beat. He is hard to beat. But no, I actually got Aaron Rodgers back on this deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Chief Owners, have a good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir. All right, bye.
Yeah, the woke media, man, soft culture. Yeah, you can't take people's freedom away from them. And he did exactly what, he was honest. And he did exactly what he was supposed to. I did what my doctors told me to do.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother day. All right. Thanks for watching the Free Medical Clinic Friday Night Scoreboard show. We appreciate your support all season. We appreciate the callers. We have kids that call. We have student athletes calling. We have coaches.
Love the athletes.
Grandparents. And we appreciate all we do. We cannot do this, though, without the Free Medical Clinic. We could not do without OEB. We could not do it with all the sponsors that we have. And we could not have as a successful show as we have without Brad Jones.
That's facts.
So Brad makes this thing go. His son Chandler makes it go. And the reason we are as good as we are is because of those guys. So hats off to both of those guys and what they do for high school sports and what they do for us here on this call-in show is remarkable, and we want to thank you. We'll see everybody back here Friday night, 10 o'clock, for the Free Medical Clinic Friday Night Scoreboard for our grand finale next Friday night.
Try, go watch a game.
Go support the kids.
Many of our neighbors are living in fear of becoming sick or injured because they do not have health insurance or can't afford to go to the doctor. The Free Medical Clinic is solving that problem by providing free, no-charge primary care clinics in Oak Ridge, Harriman, and Briceville for residents in Anderson, Morgan, and Roane counties. But we don't accomplish this alone. There's no way we can create a better future for our community members by ourselves. It takes all of us. We thank each of our valuable partners in helping the Free Medical Clinic end the fear of those who can't afford medical care. On behalf of our thousands of patients, thank you.
You call your agent with a simple question, only to get sent to voicemail again. We pick up the phone. Did you get this? Hello, this is Sam. How can I help you? Like I said, we pick up the phone because it's ringing. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if